friends, welcome back. My name's Ramon. How are you today? So here I am in my bathrobe, in my bathroom, and that means that we're going to be getting unready together. With that being said, today we're going to be talking about a very crazy, sexy, cool, fun new launch, Humanrace by Pharrel. Here's the tea with this. This is another celebrity skincare line, which some people have thoughts about, but honestly, this is, aside from Fenty, I think a celebrity skincare line I'm actually very hyped about. Kind of explain that. First and foremost, it's Pharrell, who's already like just a really cool person, really fun guy. I don't know him. Just assuming. Also, just look at Pharrell. He looks like he could pass for 25 and he's like somewhere in his 40s, almost 50. So he looks amazing. And honestly, I think a big question for a long time, because I remember people talking about this for years now, is what are Pharrell's like secrets to like look this way? What are his anti-aging secrets? What are his skincare secrets? What's his routine? I'm not saying this is exactly his routine, but the fact that he's kind of divulging a little bit of the secrets, a little bit of the tea on what it is he likes to use to keep his face looking the way it does, I'm all for it. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask that you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, or Fenty related content on my channel. Give it a thumbs up, and down below, have you bought this? What are your thoughts on this? Are you tired of celebrity skincare lines? And or what are your thoughts on Pharrell launching this line and your thoughts on the products from what you've heard and what you experienced so far? Let me know. Hearing him actually talk about the line, his process developing it, he did do this himself. He brought in his esthetician, who he's used for years now, who's really taught him the importance of certain ingredients for skincare, the role that they play in a skincare routine. That person consulted in the actual development of the line. So all the products that he launched and curated for this line have a lot of intention behind them. Looking at the products, reading the ingredients, and kind of hearing the process for developing each individual one, I'm like, okay, these products have intention. It's very similar to Fenty Skin. There was a clear purpose. There's a lot of development ideas behind it to execute a very simple but very well thought out line. And so with that, you got 3 products. I bought all of these, nothing was PR, and trust me, finding out I had to pay $40 just for the shipping to get to London was heartbreaking a little bit. So with that, today we're doing our first impressions on the Pharrell Humanrace skincare line. I just got this the other night, and this is my first time using it. I've read a lot about these. I have actually not heard a lot about people's opinions on them who've used the products. I just know Pharrell's explaining of each individual product. There's 3 products in the initial launch. First and foremost, you have the Rice Powder Cleanser, along with the Lotus Enzyme Exfoliator, and then you have the Humidifying Cream. And so, fundamentally, a very simple line. No sunscreen. That is noted. That is definitely something I have thoughts about, but I think he launched with a very simple to the point line. Again, a lot of things are very characteristic of the Fenty Skin launch. There was a lot of well thought out ideas that were executed very nicely. So simple to the point, cleanse, moisturize, occasional exfoliant. Not only that, but the packaging itself, this green packaging is actually a hard shell. So the actual skincare components of this, whether it's the cleanser, the exfoliant, or the moisturizer, are actually refillable little pods you put in. Kind of explaining to you how that works. This is the cleanser right here. Screw off the top, which mind you, side note, this has a braille on the lid, which I think is a really cool touch. It's a nice little bit of inclusivity you rarely see in skincare, so celebrate that. Pop off the lid, and then you have this component right here is where the rice powder cleanser is inside of. This little dome does screw off. That's the rice powder inside. But then the actual center component actually does pop out as well. And so this is what you replace every time that you need to refill this. And so you buy the refillable pods on the Humanrace website. Yeah, it's kind of minimizing on carbon footprint. I think it's really cool to see a lot of brands now focusing on how to be as sustainable as possible when you are a global brand. And with this being the first impression, I will be reading some of the stuff off the website. I also have little notes taped on the wall around me just to call out some ingredients and some product claims. I'm using this for the first time and you're coming along the ride with me. So behind the scenes, I have Light B. Today I was testing out a sunscreen for the first time, so not a lot's going on my face. But with the cleanser, they do claim it's a cleanser that's intended to break down sebum, makeup impurities on the face, wash it away, but being very gentle on the skin. So we're gonna be testing that with whatever I got going on today. So first things first, cleanser. We have the rice powder cleanser, and they're highlighting it has fruit AHAs, snow mushroom, as well as geranium. And they say that you want to wet your hands, shake a coin-sized amount into your hand, and rub that powder until it foams up to a nice cleansing texture. Massage your face. This actually gives me the Tatcha Rice Powder Enzyme Cleansing Teas at half the price, just because it's a very similar concept, similar product component. So I'm excited to see how that compares, just because the Tatcha one is double the price of this, and this seems like it has a little bit more of a benefit going for it. So let's wet our hands. The hands are wet. Let's dispense a little bit. Okay, this is not the most fun to do. Okay, so I got that amount. Other hand's wet. We're going to start working this into a nice little lather. There you go. Potentially feel like I should have done more, but let's see what this does first. This does have a little bit of a gritty texture. Looking at the ingredients list, they call out specifically, so you have rice powder in this, and that's a primary component. Obviously, it's in the name, and that's gonna give you a little bit of an exfoliating benefit. On top of that, you have a few different coconut-based surfactants, which is really interesting, because I wanna know if that, along with there's an olive fruit oil in this, how they got that into like the powder texture. as a formulator, that's something I'm really interested to see how that happens. But along with the rice powder and these surfactants, you also have these fruit AHA blend, which I actually mentioned in my Naturium topical acids video. It's a blend of very specific fruit acids where in conjunction together give you really nice, gentle AHA benefits. And then you also have that paired with snow mushroom, which is a really nice humectant botanical extract. It's basically acting like hyaluronic acid, just making sure that your skin is nicely hydrated. You also have things like allantoin, which is one of my all-star favorite ingredients. Overall though, like working this into my skin, it did have that little bit of a gritty texture and I'm still feeling it, but it doesn't feel like I'm using a physical exfoliator. It feels nice and gentle on the skin actually. I'm going to be interested to see how this breaks down the makeup that I'm wearing though. There's also kaolin clay in this, which you're claiming has a little bit of a detoxifying benefit to it, just helping to pull off any excess oil, sebum-based impurities on the skin as well. And then you also have the geranium extract, which you talked about in the front of the packaging. And that's just a nice little antibacterial plus anti-inflammatory ingredient as well. So overall, what I'm getting from this is it's actually very geared towards like fancy skin, actually more oily skin types, in that it's going to help to balance the skin, keep your skin nicely hydrated, but really work on breaking down those oil-based impurities and helping to balance the skin. And I mean, they rinse off really nicely. I don't feel like my skin's really dry. Like, you know when you use really astringent like foaming cleansers? I don't really have that feeling. My skin feels really good. But let's white towel test it, especially around the hairline, just to make sure everything is gone. I do still got a little something right there. That might just mean I need to use a little bit more of the cleanser, really work it into my hair a little bit more. With the kind of makeup I was doing today, I actually don't normally oil cleanse with that. I've actually steered away from oil cleansing, and I can usually get a cleanser to take all that off and rinse it off really effectively. So that might just mean I need to use a little bit more of the cleanser. So good to know now. But dispensing that was a little bit weird. That's my only qualm with that. But overall, it feels nice, looks good. I'm out of it. But with this, a lot of the claims around it just seem like they're focusing on detoxifying, balancing the skin. Obviously, there's some nice exfoliating benefits from this that are really, really gentle, but that's something it's interesting to see in like an everyday cleanser, but I'm not mad at that. And then you also have things that are going to help to balance and hydrate the skin as well, so you're not, again, stripping your face at the end of this cleanse. Now let's get into the exfoliant. This is something I was really interested in seeing. When I first talked about Fenty Skin back in the day when I realized it was coming but I didn't know it was involved, I was like, I really want to see what actives they bring out. I want to see what exfoliating, what treatments they bring out. And that didn't really happen necessarily, but then Humanrace did. Looking at this, it's an 8% glycolic acid exfoliant that also has an extra 2% of a fruit acid AHA complex. There's also enzymatic exfoliants involved in this, primarily from papaya, pumpkin, and pomegranate enzymes. And then you also have additional rice powder in this. So there's a lot going on. And the instructions for this were a bit confusing. My boyfriend actually used this before I did. And the instructions say gently massage 2 to 3 pumps of exfoliator in circular motion on clean, damp skin. Avoid the eye area, then rinse. But it doesn't really tell you how long to leave it on your skin. I'm kind of going in blind with this, but let's just see. And so the component for this is very similar to like the Inculus Peptide Moisturizer, the Drunk Elephant Protini. It's one of those that's a very sanitary dispensing pump. You just push down on it and it comes out. So 1, 2, let's just do 2 right now. Get that off, and then let's work that into the face. Right off the bat, there's not a lot of texture. There's a little bit of something in this, but it just feels like a moisturizer. I haven't exfoliated in a few days, so I've been waiting for this. Okay, I'm feeling a little something. That's definitely a sensation. It's not stinging yet. But looking at, again, you have 8% glycolic acid, you have food AHAs, you have the enzymatic exfoliants. I love enzymatic exfoliants. Similar to how AHAs work in breaking down the bonding that holds together like the upmost layer of dead skin cells to exfoliate those off. Enzymes work in a similar way. They just break down those bonds that hold those corneocytes together to exfoliate that topmost layer of your skin. This P blend of enzymes, which is what I usually call it, just because a lot of other brands feature a very similar complex of like papaya, pumpkin, pomegranate, pineapple's also really common. They're really effective and not the most gentle, if I'm being honest. It's not like a mandelic acid. This is a glycolic acid and enzyme exfoliant. This is definitely gonna give you some benefits. It's also interesting to note that this does feature glycolic acid. So they didn't go with mandelic, they didn't go with lactic, they went for glycolic acid. And I know there's a little bit of a situation right now around glycolic acid because individuals are making the claim that glycolic acid's not the best, especially for skin of color. And mind you, Pharrel is a black man who created the skincare line and he purposely put glycolic acid in this. Make sure you just space out the use of it. Don't go too frequently using glycolic acid. A lower percentage like this, 8 to 10%, is perfectly fine, even higher. So long as you're making sure that you are repairing and strengthening and reinforcing your skin barrier using some anti-inflammatory ingredients. And again, most importantly, space out the use. used the product, gave your skin enough time to heal and recuperate as a result of that. So just give your skin a few days after this before you go in with any other exfoliants, retinoids, any like high strength like resurfacing actives. You can see I'm getting a little bit red right here. It's very normal for me, especially with retinoids and higher strength actives. But I mean, overall, I've had this on my face now for like 3-4 minutes and I'm not really feeling a lot of irritation if I'm being honest. I can tolerate a good exfoliant though, so yeah, let's go. Let's rinse it off. So high key, my skin feels really baby smooth right now. I'm really happy with that, but it didn't burn. There's no really strong areas of irritation, no bright redness aside from my upper cheek area here, but that's very, very normal. It's a very different exfoliating experience compared to things I've been using for the last year or so. So that's actually really interesting. I'm not saying it's completely innovative. I'm just saying the blend of glycolic acid with the fruit AHAs with the enzymes and the overall texture and feel of the exfoliant, this is really fun to use. I'm not gonna lie, it's a very unique exfoliating experience. I'm really weary of the cleanser itself having that rice powder and giving you some AHA exfoliant as well, and then this on top of that. Quite frankly, if I were to do a routine, I would cleanse with something that's more normal gel based and then go in with this. Off first impression, really enjoy this. Actually do like this a lot conceptually and would want to see how long term this works in my skincare routine, but do love her. Something also to point out, as it specifically says, it has the pH of 3.6, which, going back to glycolic acid and exfoliants and whatnot, having an acid exfoliator in a product and seeing a percentage on the packaging is nice, but a lot of other factors have to come into play to make sure you're actually getting the benefits of that exact percentage and concentration of the active ingredients. pH is a big factor, especially for AHAs and acid exfoliants, and so that 3.6 pH is perfect, right in range, so that tells me that I'm actually going to get a good AHA kick out of this. Then you have everything else in the formulation as well. And then something else to call out is the Lotus extract, which is in the name of the product. And that is going to give you some antioxidant benefits. And the website itself claims that the antioxidant benefit is going to help protect your skin, but also repair your skin from the damage of oxidative and free radical stress, which those are things that help to break down the collagen and elastin in the skin and cause signs of aging early on. The more so in skin of color, those are things that cause pigmentation related issues. So overall, with the glycolic acid, AHAs, and antioxidant benefits of this product, what you're really trying to do is help to plump up the skin, resurface the texture, give you a nice brighter complexion, help fade pigmentation related issues, as well as to help promote collagen synthesis, and as a result of that, help smooth out the look of fine lines and wrinkles. So a lot's going on in this product, a lot of benefits in this product. So long as you use it the right way, you're gonna see a lot of benefits out of this. But now before my face gets too dry, let's go on to the moisturizer. And we have the Humidifying Cream. And this is really interesting, reading about the claims behind it, because really he wanted to recreate the effects of the skin that a tropical environment has. I don't know if you've ever been to a really tropical climate. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm a boy of the Caribbean. It's humid AF when you're down there, and my skin prospers in that environment. My skin is glowy, it's supple, it's dewy, kind of greasy. Real talk, when you have something that's a moisturizer that's more gel-based and has a lot of humectants in it, that humid environment provides a really good environment for the humectants in your moisturizer to feed off of to help promote really nice hydration in the utmost layers of the skin, and thus you have a much more plump, radiant, juicy appearance in your skin. And so with this, specific call-outs of this, you have the snow mushroom that we saw in the cleanser, and again, that's a natural humectant. You also have niacinamide, which niacinamide, skincare superstar, featured really heavily in Fenty Skin as well, but more so, niacinamide is very commonly found in a lot of moisturizers, no matter what the price point, no matter where you buy them at, just because niacinamide helps to promote a really healthy skin barrier. It has anti-inflammatory benefits to it, so it's going to help calm down redness and soothe irritation and inflammation. It helps to brighten the skin and furthermore help with texture-related issues. It helps with acne-related issues by helping to prevent breakouts. So it does a lot for the skin. You also have glycerin and you have squalane and sodium hyaluronate, so more humectants, and plus squalane is just a really great oil that's actually found naturally in the skin and just helps to keep your skin nicely balanced. And then more importantly, you have an ingredient called Centella asiatica, which is one of my all-time favorite ingredients. It's a botanical extract that's most known for its anti-inflammatory and soothing benefits, but it's also an antioxidant, and it's also really great at repairing and maintaining a healthy skin barrier. So lots going on with this, but overall, what I could tell you is that it's a nice lightweight gel cream moisturizer, but what I will say is the texture of this feels really silicone-y. Not so much like a primer, but I do feel a lot of silicone in this, and I don't think it actually is featured heavily in the ingredients list. So that's a little bit odd. This does also have a few coconut-based ingredients like coconut water and coconut juice, which again, just impart nice nourishing benefits to the skin. I don't love this. The texture of this is weird. It's making my skin feel like I'm missing something, and I'm someone who I have dehydrated oily skin, so I tend to layer a lot of humectants like serums and essences and toners underneath my moisturizer to just add that hydration into my skin. And not having that after the exfoliant and before this, I feel like my skin's really missing something, so it still feels a little bit parched, if I'm being honest. My skin looks nice, but I can tell you from my boyfriend having used this last night, he got into bed. He's someone who he loves a really thick night cream to lock in everything because he tends to be a little bit more dehydrated than I am. He got into bed. At first, he was like, my skin feels fine. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, I need to go put on more moisturizer. Like, I feel parched already. So I need to play around with this with other products. I will be doing a 1 month and 3 month check-in with this just to see how I'm using these and how these have fit into my routine in a more long-term period. But right off the bat, what I will say, standout product, exfoliant for sure. Cleanser is nice. I need to figure out how to use that. And then the moisturizer, I just need to figure out what to pair it with. My final thoughts on the Humanrace line. It's not bad. I like a lot of the points of it, but again, the exfoliant is the one thing I really thought was a standout just because it was very interesting, a little bit more innovative than the other products. But if you like Tatcha and you like the rice enzyme powder, the Humanrace enzyme powder is a better dupe that's half the price and more bang for your buck. I just, again, need to figure out how to use this. Moisturizer might be a skip if I'm being honest, but I think it was really interesting and I want to see what else Pharrel comes out with. Having this esthetician as someone who's consulting on the line and seeing what he's done already with his first launch. Excited to see more from the line. And most importantly, excited to see a sunscreen because he did also talk about the importance of SPF and in taking care of the skin, protecting it from the aging, the cancer, and the other damages related to UV exposure. And plus with the line focus a little bit more around exfoliating and promoting a look of brighter, younger skin, a sunscreen is really important. So I'll be waiting for that. And with that, that's my first impression on the Pharrel Humanrace line. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and fancy-related content on my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and down below, again, what are your thoughts on what I use? What are your thoughts on what I said about each individual product? What are you thinking of buying? Do you even want to get the line? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.